tit-for-tat sanctions are in place. China says will slap sanctions on Lockheed Martin, the main contractor for $620 million deal of U.S. arms sale to Taiwan.
Today, and an executive order.
In Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order ending America's preferential treatment for Hong Kong in trade. He has also ruled out a possibility of bilateral talks.
I want to know, when's the last time you spoke with President Xi of China, and do you plan to speak with him in the near future?
No, I haven't spoken to him. Well, no, I don't. I have no plan to speak to him.
For months, Trump has blamed China for, in his own words, sending the coronavirus to the U.S., while defending his administration's own response as cases soar. Last week, the U.S. officially withdrew from the World Health Organization, which Trump claimed was beholden to China. The U.S. president also says because of the pandemic, he won't consider another trade deal with China. Although Trump and his presumptive Democratic challenger Joe Biden have accused each other of being weak on China, recent moves by the U.S. suggest otherwise.
USS Ronald Reagan and USS Nimitz began dual-carrier operations.
For the first time in 6 years, 2 U.S. Navy aircraft carriers were recently in the South China Sea. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Monday China's expansive maritime claims across most of the South China Sea were completely unlawful, a claim refuted by Beijing.
China has exercised the utmost restraint in safeguarding its sovereignty and rights and interests in the South China Sea. On the contrary, the United States is the destroyer and troublemaker to regional peace and stability.
Tibet and Xinjiang have also become issues in bilateral relations. China last week imposed visa restrictions on U.S. citizens who have engaged in what it called egregious behavior over Tibet in retaliation against similar U.S. restrictions. Beijing has also slapped sanctions on top Republicans in response to what it calls America's wrong actions. The U.S. had imposed sanctions on Chinese officials over China's policies in Xinjiang. All this with China's insistence that it will not tolerate foreign interference in domestic issues. CGTN.